Namaste. Welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit. Pardon me. And I'm so glad that you could join me this evening for our monthly Kriya Yoga meditation and Satsang. I'd like to begin with a few announcements. This coming Tuesday, we'll be continuing with our Tuesday Satsang series. We'll be doing a chair yoga and meditation for chakra number, actually it's going to be number 5, the throat, Vishuddhi. Next week on Friday, we will have the 5th in our series for the Kali Nitya goddesses, Puja and Satsang, and we'll be honoring the goddess Kali Virodhini. Starting on the 13th will be our celebrations for Navaratri, the spring 9-day celebration for the Divine Mother. Those of you who are on my mailing list have already received a calendar for the month detailing everything that we're going to be doing. One of the highlights will be during our daily pujas. I will include chantings and readings from the Shakta, that is the goddess-centered scripture, the Devi Gita, which means the song of the Divine Mother. So that'll be happening daily from the 13th through the 21st. And the Tuesdays or Fridays that are in that time period will be part of that. We'll still be doing a Yoga Nidra later in the month, and the last Friday of the month we'll be doing part 6 in the Kali Nitya series, the goddess Viprachita. So a lot of interesting things happening this month, especially with the 9-day celebration. So before we begin with the actual Kriya practice like we do every month, I'm going to start with a short meditation. So I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable seated position. It can be in a chair or it can be on the floor, maybe with a cushion under your hips. Just any position where you can sit comfortably with a straight back. And I invite you to close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply. Long, slow, deep yogic breaths. Just keep breathing and relaxing. And preparing for the work we're about to do this evening. And I invite you now to feel your astral spine, the central channel, also known as Sushumna. But feel it as a hollow tube in the center of the body that runs from the base of the spine to the point between the eyebrows. And I invite you to place your left hand at the base of the spine, at the bottom of the tailbone, and the right hand at the medulla. This is right where the skull is meeting the vertebra of the neck. And feel that hollow tube, that central channel, running from the base of the spine to the medulla. And visualize and feel that channel between your two hands. And now move your left hand to your forehead area, the area of your third eye, the point between your eyebrows, and begin to imagine and to feel that tube at the medulla as it continues forward to that point. Continue with your eyes closed. Continue with your deep breathing. And as you breathe, I invite you to sway the upper body gently and slowly from side to side, just a few inches to either side of the center. And feel as if the physical spine is resisting these movements, or though you are, as if you are passing through a column of energy each time you cross the center. Now fold the tongue and bring it back toward the back of the mouth to open and expand the throat. And then return the tongue to its resting position, but keep the throat area open. And you're going to inhale and exhale through your open mouth. The sound of ascending energy. The current is made deep in the expanded throat, at the bottom of the throat, with the inhaling breath. And the current is strong and will have a sensation of coolness. So as you breathe in, and feel the warm, cool current rising up through that central channel from the base to the third eye. And then as you exhale, making the sound, feeling a warm current of energy dropping from the third eye to the base. So we're just going to do some rounds of this form of Kriya. Inhale, raising the energy. Letting the energy drop. Up, down. And we'll just repeat this for a few rounds. So I invite you now to take a deep and clearing breath. Let your breath return to normal. And just take a moment and feel the effects of this practice. A little bit of a dry throat in my case. But just notice any changes of energy on a physical or more subtle level. And slowly open your eyes. So the Kriya practice that I just shared with you is the first level Kriya that was originally taught by Paramahamsa Yogananda, who many of you probably know through his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And this particular practice, the script that I was sharing with you, the copyright on that ran out in 1958, so it's now part of the public domain. So it's something at this point that anyone can try, anyone can do, anyone can experiment with. And like I said, this is the beginning Kriya. The more advanced involves, as you breathe in, raising the energy through that central channel and chanting Om, 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 Om silently through each of the 7 chakras. And then exhaling, bringing the energy down, and likewise Om, 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 Om for the 7 chakras on the way down. So that's a variant of that. So just wanted to share that with you, just so you have the opportunity to compare the type of Kriya that we're doing with one of the other forms that's very popular. But all forms of Kriya essentially have 4 basic components. First one is posture. You're sitting with an erect spine. The second is pranayama, deep breathing, envisioning that central channel, raising and lowering the energy with the breath. This is called Kriya Kundalini Pranayama, also known as magnetizing the spine, is another term I've heard in reference to this. There is another factor that tends to, when you're doing Kriya, this tends to naturally happen. But generally, your eyes tend to focus toward the third eye center. This is called pinealization. And just noticing as you turn your gaze slightly upwards behind your closed eyes, any patterns of light or darkness. There's a variety of things that people report as they do this kind of meditation. Sometimes they see a circle of light, sometimes a wheel of light. One that tends to happen to me a lot is I see a downward facing dark blue triangle with light surrounding it. And so that's something else that might manifest for you, but it tends to be very individualized what people will visualize with that. And then the final component is the use of mantra. So it can be this basic sound of the breath. That's the simplest and earliest form of mantra. It's one we practice 21,000 times a day on average. And the ah and the e that we did is a variation of that, just the sounds of the breath. Or mantras like Om can also be used. And so each round of this type of meditation, this type of breath, is called a Kriya. And in our practice, for anyone who might be new to this, we do a similar Kriya practice during an opening part of our meditation where we're doing a short Puja ceremony. And then we're going to repeat a couple of mantras, one for the Divine Mother, known as the Nivarna mantra, Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. And then this practice can be utilized for any deity. So we will do a silent round of mantras after we do the Divine Mother mantra. And I invite you during that time to repeat any personal mantra to any personal deity that you feel comfortable with at that time, or you can just chant the goddess mantra. Continue doing that for yourself as well. And then we're going to do 36 rounds of that same Kriya. And then the final phase of our meditation is really what everything is working into. We're just going to spend some time in a place of stillness and silence and just allowing the energies of this practice to manifest as they will. So our variation of the Kriya is we're going to chant the mantra Om out loud. Om, and that's when we raise the energy from the root. And in our case, actually, we do it through the crown. That's how I was taught, not just to the third eye. And then when you inhale after that, saying that mantra, that's when you're pulling the energy through the crown, down the Sushumna, back to the root. So again, Om, raising the energy up, inhaling, raising the energy, pulling the energy down. So I know, Raphael, namaste, Rafa and Susan. So glad you could join me. And anyone else, you're welcome to say a little hello on the chat function. Those of you who've worked with me before, I've helped you get the basic altar set up for the puja phase of our Kriya. And the things that you really need is some kind of water pot and spoon to take water with, and some kind of candle or lamp. In my case, I use a skunda from Nepal, which is actually a combination of the two. A holder for incense, some kind of perfume oil. Sandalwood's very nice. Those of us who are devotees of Kali, musk is another really nice one. A mala for counting the repetitions of the mantras. Offerings of flowers and some kind of food. Fruit's very appropriate. And then something to make the offerings too. So when I was originally taught, I was given a Sri Yantra, like this little metal one here that's been painted. And the Sri Chakra or Sri Yantra is a wonderful one because really any form of the Divine Mother can be honored using the Sri Yantra. But if you don't have one handy, there's other choices. In several temples that I visited in India, and especially Nepal, sometimes just a stone was used to represent the deity. And for the Divine Mother, a stone like this one with a natural cleft to represent the yoni is especially appropriate, or a stone with a natural hole in it. It's called a hagstone, although again, any garnet crystal. Or if you have an image of Ma Kali or some other form of the Divine Mother, you're welcome to use that. And as I said before, you can use this practice really for any deity of your choosing. And so some people choose to have other deity images on their altar plate. I'm including this little figure of Ganesha in honor of my wife, Jamie, who is a devotee of the elephant-headed god. And one of the reasons I'm also including him is just to point out just a little bit of puja etiquette. And that is, when you're making offerings, Ganesha gets offered to first. He's the remover of obstacles, so he's clearing away anything that's standing in the way between us and the divine. One of my teachers kind of explained it this way, that when you go to meet with somebody important in an office, you have to go through the secretary, and Ganesha is kind of like the secretary. So if you have this kit and you're watching tonight, you're welcome to set it up and use it as part of our meditation. And if you don't, you're always welcome to still join in the mantras and the meditation, and you'll still find it to be a very powerful experience. So with that, let's begin our practice. And there we go. Move the altar in such a place that you can see what I'm doing. And again, you can do this as a seated meditation on the floor if that works for you. If your body's saying that the floor is not a good thing tonight, then again, you can use a chair and even have the altar on a table in front of you. So, and I just want to say at this point too, before I forget, we do have this chat function on the bottom of the screen. If you'd like the temple's monthly calendar, please give me a working email address, either on the chat function, or you can email me through my channel. You can also email me with any questions or comments or ideas. So we begin our practice by finding that comfortable seat. Close our eyes for a moment and open our breath again. Let our minds focus away from the concerns of the day and the concerns of tomorrow and the concerns of yesterday. Let's just make this a time for ourselves to connect and be closer to the divine in whichever form the divine manifests for us. And I invite you at this time, if it feels right, to make a short sankalpa, that is an intention or resolve for our practice tonight. You can think of some aspect of yourself, your life that's ready for healing or transformation. Or another life issue where you're needing insight. Or maybe there's somebody close to you who's in need of some healing or supportive energies from the divine. You can think about them as well before we begin. And we honor, in the beginning of our practice, the lineage of masters of Kriya Yoga. Mahavatar Babaji, his disciple, Lahiri Mashaya, one of Lahiri's last disciples, Swami Ganeshananda, also known as Ganesh Baba. I'd like to remember my guru, Mira Pandey of Varanasi, India, and her guru, the Tantric Narayan Dutt Srimali. And let's begin our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. Om. Om. Inhale and exhale. And slowly open your eyes. So we're going to begin the Om Kriya, which I described. Chanting Om, raising the energy from the root through the crown. And as we inhale after each repetition, pulling the energy through the crown back to the root. So we're going to begin with a cleansing and then our offerings. Om. 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 Taking some water with the spoon. Om. Cleansing your hands, anointing your third eye and heart. Om. And cleansing your altar by sprinkling some water. Om. Om. Lighting your lamp or candle and taking it up with your right hand and circling it 3 times. Om. And blessing yourself. Om. Returning the flame to the altar. Om. Taking some incense with your right hand. Om. Lighting it and circling it 3 times. Om. Placing it in the holder. Om. And offering a little water to cool the atmosphere. Om. And then offering the food in the same manner with the right hand. Om. And then taking the perfume and placing a little on your middle or ring finger. Whatever's left can go on your third eye. Om. And finally, offering flowers. Om. Om. vibrations to the divine. Om. So this was the opening puja, and this is a very simple but very powerful rite that you can do at any time. I think everybody who's on this path should know how to do a simple puja. The next thing we're going to do is a blessing using the water pot and spoon of ourselves and of our surroundings. And this is where we're going to start to use the Divine Mother, the Kali mantra. So I invite you to take some water, place it in your left hand, covering your left hand with your right. We're going to repeat the mantra for the first time. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, and sprinkle it overhead. Now we're going to do 3 sips of water. So we place some water in our hand again and sip. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Second sip. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Third sip. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Now we're going to do a mudra where we're taking our middle ring and thumb together. We're going to place that on the back of the head, right where the bindu point is. This is where the skull is meeting the spinal column. And we're going to flick away the remaining water in our left hand. It's like we're getting rid of the distractions. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. And now we're going to bless ourselves with the mantra, placing it in different parts of the body. So we put some water in our left hand again. We're going to dip with all 5 fingers. And first we're going to anoint the corners of our mouth. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, and the sides of the nose. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, the outer corners of the eyes. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, each ear. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, each shoulder. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, and then the knees. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, then spread the rest overhead. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. So now we're going to do a blessing of our surroundings, placing more water in our left hand, dipping with all 5 and flicking it to the front. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. To the right. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, behind. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, left. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche, and overhead. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. And now we'll take up the mala. We're going to do 108 repetitions of the Chamunda or Nivarna mantra. So we're going to bless it first by sprinkling some water on the mala. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. And then use the mala to count 108 realms. As soon as I untangle it. There we go. Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche. 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 Om Aing Rim Klim Shamundaye 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 Viche. Feeling the power of the mantra. And feel its energies going towards your intentions. And as you feel the energies grounding, well, for the mala, and all for a flower. So we're going to do a second mala, and I'm just going to go through the beads of this mala silently I'm going to be repeating a personal mantra myself. And I invite you during that time to silently repeat a mantra that really speaks to you, for any deity that you're really close to. And if that doesn't feel right, you're welcome to meditate quietly, or you can continue repeating the goddess mantra, Om Mangrim Klim Chamundai Vijay. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Take up a mala if you have one. And just repeat the mantra silently.